Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about blind buying. I am first of all going to tell you why blind buying really isn't a great idea, and then I'm going to tell you about my most successful blind buys and how you can, if you're going to blind buy, how you can have a more likely positive outcome from it. Blind buying is a bad idea because the chances of you really loving that perfume when it finally arrives aren't really that high. I've done a lot of blind buying over the years because I wanted to try something. Maybe, you know, the hype was going on, the note listing sounded amazing, people were talking about how wonderful something was, or it was perhaps a discontinued bit of a unicorn, or maybe even limited edition. And so a touch of FOMO can be going on, and oftentimes we can make these decisions to purchase almost thoughtlessly. We can do a little bit of research, maybe on the notes and reviews and stuff, and then we see it for sale and we just click and we just say, oh bugger it, it's only 50 quid, whatever, you know, if I don't like it I'll sell it. And then, you know, a few days later it turns up at your door, you unbox it, eagerly spray it on, you're like, yeah, it's all right. I'll see how it goes. Or you maybe try and convince yourself, yeah, it's really nice. Yeah. So it can be an okay thing. Sometimes the fragrance can be good enough, you're happy enough to have it, but really, do you need a good enough fragrance? Don't you just want all your fragrances to be amazing? Don't you want all of your fragrances to invite you to spray them, to make you want to wear them? So I've got or had a lot of blind buy fails, blind buy perfumes in my collection that I've decluttered because they just weren't really doing it for me. Maybe they were okay, but they weren't really good enough. Blind buying can be an absolute waste of money because once you resell a used perfume, you're going to lose some money on that. And it's an effort. If you do want to resell, it is an effort to list it somewhere, take photos, and cope with all of the selling side of it and the posting, going to the post office. The whole thing is a major ball ache. I see some people that I think it's almost like they have an addiction to blind buying. And I see in the Facebook groups in particular, some people that would be referred to as ballers because they spend £200-300 on a perfume that they've never smelt. And more often than not, there's a picture and an update on when it arrives, and within a day or two, or even the same day, it's up for sale. Now, if you've got an endless amount of money and it doesn't matter to you to keep losing it in this way, then, you know, go ahead and do it. But if you're the everyday average person who likes to be mindful of how they spend their money, then blind buying really is not a good idea. There are some occasions when you so desperately want to try something, a brand new niche perfume is launched and the note listing sounds amazing, but they don't do samples. In my opinion, a brand that doesn't offer samples is irresponsible. Now, I can understand a brand new startup company that hasn't got around to investing in the sample side of things, maybe, but a niche brand, a luxury brand that's going to charge you £150-200 for a bottle of perfume, and they're expecting you to buy it blind. That is irresponsible. It is not good for the environment. It's not a sustainable thing. It is just bad news. So in my opinion, if they don't offer samples, then just forget about it. Just move on to the next fragrance that does excite you that you can actually sample. Of course, there are some brilliant websites that you can actually get samples from. Places like Jovoy, London, Jovoy, Maidstone. Maidstone's like about 10 miles up there. Jovoy, Mayfair, London, yeah, and Jovoy, Paris, of course. You've also got decanting stores like Greggy Boy's Fragrance Samples UK, I think it's called, where you can buy a selection of niche fragrances in sample sizes. So there's options like that, but if you cannot find an option to sample, then ask yourself how will you feel if this fragrance doesn't rock your world, you know, how will you feel? And if you have any inclination that you might feel slightly disappointed or annoyed at yourself for wasting the money, then perhaps just don't do it. So that's my own particular take on blind buying, and that's from me who's done it before, and I will probably do it again, but I am going to challenge myself to ask a few questions before I make that snap purchase decision. In fact, I'm going to keep the fragrance in my basket for at least a day and see if the FOMO dies down. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And obviously you do you, but this is just my opinion on blind buying. I do think it's a bit of a fool's game. Unless of course you're a YouTuber and you like doing loads of haul videos and loads of declutter videos. There's a few, and I can enjoy those videos. So if it's fodder for your channel, then that's another matter altogether. But as a normal person sitting at home who doesn't do YouTube videos, blind buying really isn't the best way to go, in my opinion. Moving from that to the next topic, which is my most successful blind buys. So let's get started with the perfume, because I know that's what you're here for. A really amazing blind buy that happened for me a couple of years ago now, and this is not the bottle because I've got through a couple of bottles, 2 or 3 bottles of this since, and I have 4 bottles altogether, so I have backup bottles, and it is my Insolence from Guerlain. It's discontinued, and it had the note listing that really appealed to me. It's got almond blossom, orange blossom, vanilla, I think there's some jasmine as well, musk. It just sounded like perfection, and I was after a bottle for a while, and eventually, so here's my tip here. If you're after something that is rarer or discontinued, you need to save a search on eBay and any other secondhand sites that you can save a search on. Do that, but also include not just the full name of the perfume, so my Insolence. Save a search on my Insolence, but also with this I'd saved a search on just Insolence without the my, because some people don't know what the differences are and they would just list it as Insolence, and that's happened to me on several occasions, and that's how I've managed to get bottles for cheap, because these sell anywhere between £100 and £250 a bottle from people that know what they are and how sought out they are. But some people don't know how sought after my Insolence is, and they just list it on eBay at very low price, and sometimes you can get them for really reasonable prices. So my Insolence is this kind of clean, soft, musky almond floral, and it is just beautiful. The vanilla in here smells really natural, really special, and the muskiness is so clean and fluffy and soft, and I just love it. This could totally be, I could wear this every single day and never get bored. Really love it. So that was a really good blind buy. This is Marissa Zappas, and the fragrance is called Annabelle's Birthday Cake. By the way, it's now going to be a permanent offering on the Marissa Zappas website. So when I got it, there was FOMO involved because it was a limited edition, and there was 2 bottles left. So even though I was on a no buy July, I did buy it because I just didn't want to miss out based on the note listing and the reviews that I'd seen Marissa had posted some screenshots of reviews about her perfume, and they really grabbed me because they spoke of how there was an emotional connection to the perfume, how they felt special. I can't really remember what the reviews said, but it really grabbed me, and I got the impression that Marissa Zappas is not creating perfumes just to make money, but out of a real passion and a real energy. So I totally wanted Annabelle's birthday cake because it's a gourmand with floral nuances. It's totally up my street, and it was a really good blind buy. I absolutely love it. I've probably used almost half the bottle, and I've only had it 6 months or so. It's a cake smell, but it's soft. It's not too rich. It's not too sweet. There's a tuberose frosting note in there, so you get a little bit of floral, and it's another musky floral vanilla really. So it's not that dissimilar to my Insolence. Well, it's not the same, but it's definitely ballpark. It's my taste. It's so my taste. So this was an absolute massive blind buy success. So that's Annabelle's birthday cake. And I've got 3 from the same house. If you think you know what the house is, comment down below right now. So my very first blind buy, my very first purchase from Teone Reinthal was Blue Lotus. I did an unboxing. I think I did it live, unboxing first impressions live video, and I was so happy. I was so nervous because they're quite expensive, plus you have to pay customs and shipping on top from Australia. So it was a very risky blind buy. Now the reason I took the risk was based on some very trusted fellow reviewers loving the brand and loving this perfume, loving Blue Lotus. There was Wafts from the Loft, Thomas from Ouch 110, Christy, who you may know as Oh My Soul on Instagram, and she has the Oh My Soul Facebook group. And I think I'd seen a review from Cherie on Nefertum, and I think I'd seen a review from someone else as well. But all together, these are people I really, really trust, and they were all really positive about this brand and these perfumes. And so eventually, after deliberating well over a year about purchasing from the brand, I took the plunge, and I'm so glad I did. They have become my favorite brand ever. I absolutely love them. They're all natural. Blue Lotus and Frangipani, so it's floral, but it has this light, sweet, ambery base. It reminds me a little bit of a delicate pastry with some custard cream inside, and just a lightly nuanced with the Frangipani and the Blue Lotus. So you've got that kind of floral element, but it has a freshness to it, so it's not too heavy, even though it's kind of sweet. And yeah, so that was a real good blind buy. And then following on from that, I've blind bought a few more from Teone because I just love her work so much. I love her perfumes, and I know what I love from her. So I generally like the white florals combined with amber type notes, styrax, labdanum, benzoin, vanillas. The work that she does with those is just so up my street. And so that led me to blind buying. I've got Sacred Ground here, and I am wearing it today, by the way. Absolutely blown away by how amazing this is. This is another, it's kind of rich yet fresh, almost like a fresh kind of spicy Coca-Cola with honey and a little bit of terracotta earth and some pepper, and it's difficult for me to describe this one, but I really feel connected to it. It totally takes me back to a little holiday I had with Sam when we would go by the sea in the evening, and it wasn't a particularly warm holiday. We were in the UK, the weather wasn't great, but we'd walk up to the sea at night, take a little drink with us, and just go and watch the waves. And I remember wearing this one night. I wore quite a few of the Teone fragrances, and it really made me feel like these natural perfumes, it kind of helped me feel more connected to nature. It just felt so good wearing these beautiful natural perfumes outdoors in, you know, and with this rugged sort of like crazy sea breaking and, you know, waves crashing. And as soon as I put this on today, it took me back to being by the sea at night time with Sam, which is really lovely. So yeah, absolutely love that. And then another blind bite from Teone's Honey Amber. You can see how much I've used. Love, love, love it. This is another one with Frangipani. This is not quite as fresh, and the amber it's sticky, but it's not particularly heavy. So it's like, it is honeyed. I wouldn't call it honey. Like, it's not like smelling a jar of honey, which can be kind of jarring, if you pardon the pun. It's not like that. It's like, you know, when you smell honeyed florals, flowers are giving off kind of like a sticky honey kind of feel. I love it so much. So yeah, that was another blind buy that was just an amazing success. I can't show you unsuccessful blind buys because I'm pretty much decluttered all of them, and I am really trying not to blind buy things just out of curiosity, because that's what I've done quite a lot in the past. But I will show you one that is kind of it's neutral, so it's neither massively positive. Like, all of these have been really like big, yes, absolute love, love, love it. This one is more like neutral. You know, I don't think I'm going to sell it, but it's also not rocking my world, and that is Shalimar, what's it called, Vanilla Planifolia, Millesime Vanilla Planifolia. And I really like, it is really nice. It is really nice. The dry down, when it becomes much more vanilla-y, is a beautiful vanilla. It's quite a sweet vanilla. So to me, it smells like there's some vanillin in there, or perhaps it's just because Planifolia is a more vanilla-y, like has more vanillin in it. So it does smell like a sweeter vanilla. And it's a really nice perfume, but it didn't rock my world. I'm going to keep trying it. But this one was where the FOMO really got to me. It's a limited edition, and it was running out in a lot of places. My fragrance friends over in the States really couldn't get hold of it. And here in the UK, I don't think there was any UK stockists, but there was a couple of European stockists that shipped to the UK. I watched a review that compared it a little bit to Bois d'Harmonie, which is one of my favourite Guerlain fragrances, and that's what tipped me over the edge, because I'd already pulled myself back from the edge. I wasn't going to buy it. I was, then I wasn't, then I was, then I wasn't, and I was way back from the edge. Okay, I'm not going to buy it. And I saw this review and it said kind of like Bois d'Harmonie, and I thought, well, if it's like Bois d'Harmonie, I really want it. So I took a calculated decision. I watched a lot of reviews, read a lot of reviews. I went on Instagram, I looked up as many reviews as I could. Lola from Lola Scents reviewed it, she loves it. A Memory Flow, it was Memory Flow's review mainly really that pushed me back over the edge. And I'm not blaming anyone but myself. And of course, if you blind buy and it goes wrong, it doesn't matter whose review you watched, it's on you. You chose to put that in your basket and pay for it. And of course, I'm not blaming anyone. I don't dislike it. I definitely don't hate it. I think it's a beautiful fragrance, but I've already got some gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous vanilla perfumes. And do I really need this one? Probably not. But I'm gonna, keep on. I'm gonna wear it a few times, and it's a gorgeous bottle. It is a limited edition. I probably won't lose too much money if I sell it. But it is, as I say, it's always a ball ache to have to sell stuff. So yeah, that was more of like a mediocre, neutral blind buy. But there you have it. That's my thoughts on blind buying and my absolute favourite blind buys ever. Let me know in the comments below how you get on with blind buying. Do you do it? Are you against it? Do you refrain from it? What has been your most successful blind buy? And also tell me about your blind buy fails. So that's it then, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video, and I will catch you in another one.